every single outlet that you could.
All right, let's see if we're on.
It does just go by the rankings. It's just like.
Let me just see if this is live.
Then it's. I'm pretty sure it is X after that. There is a 1-to-1 of how
chat
screws up your mental health, and it's like
okay. So top chat is there
because it's miserable people that hate their lives that have a lot of free time because they live in the first world and their life is nowhere near as bad as they like to pretend it is. In fact, they talk themselves. This is the incredible thing, right? Like you want to talk about The Secret, right? You want to talk about law of attraction. Really, it is just based off the idea that whatever internal dialogue is going on in your head, that is generally how you're going to behave.
All right.
Like, if you think that everyone is out to get you, you will be looking for nothing but evidence to prove that correct, right?
All right, you know, the usual drill. We're not going to really do much for like, I don't know, 20 minutes or whatever. We'll just see if you guys can hear me and all that kind of stuff. Don't say, no, I can't hear you when you can. If it ain't the Labour shill. Yes, it's me. All right. Yes. We've all had a good laugh, haven't we? Alright, you know, we're not going to really do much for like, alright, well, that looks... We'll just see if you guys can hear me and all that kind of stuff. Pretty good. Don't say, no. Yes, hello. Let me just... Shut up, moose full of goons. I know you can hear me. Other people are saying that you can. Well, should we just start with the original?
Greetings,
and watch
Space Marines.
Trailer?
You've slain the enemies of humanity for nearly a...
Am I? Yes. Are you sure still? Or is it on delay? Alright. Seems pretty dead to me. Alright. I think it's all good. Alright. See you, man. Alright, let's just test and see if this all works. Like, God, it's been so long since I've done one of these. Let me go into Watcher. And let's watch.
Yeah. You bolstered the ranks of the Imperium by the millions. You brought us victory time and time again.
Stand up for the Imperium!
For a new year of Space Marine 2 content.
Year 2.
Starting next week with patch 10, all the way to patch 15 next year. Here's a taste of the free content we have in store for you.
Peace, Hammer.
New operations. A new PvP game mode with a playable hell route. 3 PvP arenas, gameplay modifiers, and much more. Like the addition of new enemies and bosses for you to take down. The Chaos Spawn and the Mutalith Vortex Beast. Like several new weapons with which to dispose of them in the Emperor's name. Pyre Blaster.
Wow.
Pyre Cannon.
Oh.
Power Axe.
How is that not one before?
Blade, Combi Melter, and others. Brought to you by our
more.
next playable class, the Tech Marine.
Yeah!
And to further enhance your looks, next week will mark the release of our Season Pass 2, which will add 9 new cosmetic DLCs packed with armor pieces, heraldry decals, and weapon skins.
Nice!
Stay tuned to our social media
Take him down!
And see you all very, very soon.
Ooh, I can't wait. Alright, anyway, we watched an ad that I didn't get paid any money for. God, that's stupid. Alright, let's just look at some of the comments that we've got so far. Liam Banner said they used flashbangs at the Melbourne protests. Only seemed to pepper spray us counter-protesters, Lamau. What the hell's a flashbang?
This is a civilian flashbang that you can buy. It's the
Nice.
M11 multi-bang from IWA. Kind of feels like a toy.
very
It
good to
feels
know.
pretty small. We've never used one of these, but today we're going to give it a go. This is a civilian.
It seems pretty weak to me. Can't believe that you live in America and sitting there. Yeah, it's not as powerful as a hand grenade. Up the doggies! Bob Qatar! Thank you, Timmy. Truer words were never spoken. You're talking about rugby league Bulldogs, right? Yeah! A lot of Australian flags, some Chinese flags in the chat. Very good. All right. Look, yeah, we'll try and aim to start sometime before, 12 a.m. How about we aim for that, hey? 12 a.m. This country shall never mature. I'm disgusted by the scenes around this country. Vote 1, legalise cannabis. I'm sorry. Thank you for the $5. Also, are you 80 years old? Who speaks like that? Grow up, Australia. I saw who saw Avi Yemeni fight with the Nazis. Well, we will be looking at that in a second. The protest in Brisbane was good vibes and true patriotism. Much love to you all. Yeah, there you go. So, look, pretty much I want to know, how rowdy did it get? Because if Avi Yemeni is getting punched in the head, I'm assuming that it's not that rowdy. That seems to be a normal level of for that man's life. I'm imagining he just walks down the street and gets punched in the head. I told you we close at 10. What? When it doesn't say it on the sign. Oh, brutality. Brutality by a Chinese guy that runs a Chinese restaurant. Well, we have weak flashbangs. They have weak beer. Well, that's very true. They do have weak beer. I don't know if it's true if we have weak flashbangs or not. I still don't really know what they do. Is it kind of just like a Batman... Hey, look over there. Something's happening over there. Get him. Avi and his chopper board. Yes, all right. Don't forget to watch F1 tonight. This is from the official channel, $50. Oh, I wonder who's paying for that, hey? That better not be coming out of my paycheck, Jackson. Thank you very much for the 50. You really didn't have to do that. You of all people. Everybody else, it is absolutely a shame on you that you are not giving me $50 to sit there and say, what? That's crazy. There was protest? That's mad. That's insane. Look at that. That protest is huge. Someone from Port Macquarie was wearing a MAGA shirt with an Australian flag as a cape. More of that. Why do we have to go to the sticks like Port Macquarie before we see that level of truly enlightened being? What the hell's going on there? And a very nice name as well, might I say, your mum. It's quite offensive as well, frankly. How dare you say that about my mum? Meet me outside Bankstown Station. I haven't had dinner yet, WTF. Well, that's entirely on you, Annabelle. You should have had dinner by now. It's 8:14. Organise your life better. Moved in with my Indian girlfriend as a counter-protest. Yes, I'm sure that was pre-planned. The Antifa and Palestine traitors were the only ones starting problems. I mean, it does sound quite Antifa to me to just come in and be like, oh, there's a fight, is there? My problem is every time you ever see the Antifa guys, it's like, guys, you are not equipped to go against meth heads that spend a lot of time in the gym, which I'm sure was the large amount of the stand up for Australia round. And then you just have these weedy little gingers coming out with, I don't know, sticks being like, let's beat some Nazis. Look, one thing that I'm very glad about is the fact that God love them, they try. They really do. They try to make Australia like America and have these big, full-scale riots. And that's all you get. You get 3,000 people marching around in Australia being like, where are we going again? Which way's Parliament? I'm 80 in a 24-man's body. That's what I thought. I was like, you speak like a grandma. You have the same language as my nan. Launceston apparently had like 6 protesters. Yeah, but there's only 8 people in Launceston, so that's a pretty good turnout. Geordie, why was there a time when Australian media was nothing but bad sketch shows like Big Bite and Skit House of the Wedge? Oh, I can tell you that. Because they had to fulfill some level of Australian content and they needed something that is cheap. And my God, if you want cheap, it doesn't get much cheaper than sketches. Believe me, I know. I've been doing them for the last 12 years. Melbourne was effing crazy, bro. Brawling everywhere. See, this is the whole thing. I don't understand why Melbourne is filled with such goers. But we will have to look at some of that footage. So if you do have some of that footage, we'll have a look. We'll obviously have to look at Avi Yemeni's page and see if he's got anything going there. We need to see Avi Yemeni getting bashed. I'm sorry, it needs to happen. The media has already misrepresented the protesters as anti-immigration protesters when there are anti-mass immigration protests. Well, yeah, obviously, you know, the press is going to want to sensationalize things as much as possible, which is why I'll be watching that. Because I want to see the highlights. This is all I'm here for. I'm like one of those people that watching a boxing match but doesn't want to pay for main event. Just give me the YouTube highlights. Luke Shaw, it was fun, but also at times overwhelming, keeping count of the infected injection sites on the old sovereign citizen cookers. I can't believe it was overwhelming. Really, was it? I thought that it was like, you know, Launceston was getting 6 protesters, Sydney was getting 12. Concerns for the rising cost of living and the unsustainable migration levels are legitimate. However, it seems that some of the people at those marches had different, less benign motivations. I mean, always. Yeah, that's my general view of every protest. You still haven't posted my Port Macquarie alien show video too, you bum. Oh, you're your mum. Your mum... I think I lost it. Look, I will double check, but I remember going back and looking at footage and we had to make clearances, so I'm not sure if it's there or not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry! She was so sweet. Your mum, she was like, sign this in the middle of a show. That's never happened before. Very distracting, but distracting in the right way. Very nice. The irony of using the Eureka Stockade flag when it consisted of a large number of immigrants during the gold rush. I never thought about that. My computer stopped displaying to my monitor. Did you hire a Fiverr witch to put a curse on me for not listening to the self-help channel? You can do that? Because I will be using your $5 to put a curse on you. I mean, it's in the name. You gave me the perfect amount of money, Shield Bill. And why aren't you watching the self-help channel? I'll tell you, if you want to kick out those migrants, first you have to get better, mate. Did you see Beck Freedom, one of the organisers, go head-to-head with Buttstuff Ben Fordham recently? No, I did not. What? Ben Fordham fought? I can't imagine him being in the Antifa protests. What was he going, don't you think this is all a bit much? I mean, that real Channel 9, yeah, there's a fight going on, let's stoke some fires. It still runs in him, hey? Well, I think, let's just see, again, if this is doing well or not. And if it is doing well, we will start Match for Australia!
With Super
Let's see
Luke's
what we've got.
Plan.
This is all looking pretty damn good. One of the ideas is effects of Launceston. Gee, Cuzzy, how you been? Come past Brody one day. I don't know what Brody is, but okay. Sounds like a shithole, and that's my kind of place. Yes. All right. Where to begin? Where to begin? I know where I'm going to begin. I'm going to begin with shilling my brand new live show. Because I have shows that have been announced and I haven't done that yet. So I'm going to have to do that. And then obviously we'll get back to you, the people. But first... Okay, so it's Brisbane, Townsville, Cairns. Yeah, I'm going to the Bob Catter territory. Brisbane, Townsville and Cairns, late September. All right. Well, in case you have missed it, because you've been living under a rock, and that rock was put there by migrants. Stand up for Australia. March for it. And wave around those red flags that I'm not really sure what they are. I think they're naval flags. A lot of those, and a lot of Eureka Stockade flags as well. In case you didn't know, Australia has been engulfed with some of the biggest protests that we've ever seen. From what I heard, there was a few thousand people in all of the capital. So about as many people as I get to my live shows, which, by the way, are in Townsville, Cairns and Brisbane at the end of September. Make sure that you get your tickets at Friendly Geordie's Live. Anyway, no, what really matters, this country and the fact that it is going down the toilet. Have you noticed that recently? I don't really know what the protesters wanted. I don't know if the protesters knew what they wanted either. I think that it was a very poorly organised protest, and I think that a lot of that came from the paranoia of the organisers thinking, they're going to shut us down. So they kind of just did it out late. Oh, yeah, we're marching this day over here somewhere. Apparently, when it was in Melbourne, you had about 3,000 people all up, and 1,500 of them started to march to Parliament, and the other 1,500 started marching the other way. And then you obviously had all of the end fascism protests coming in hot. Let's see how hot they came in. We will go look at that footage later on. But before we do, let's just read some comments. Oi, Jordan, it's Singlet CUNT from Adelaide, Armidale. Oh, Slim Diddley. You have the perfect name for someone like that as well. Slim Diddley. You're a legend. I was doing a show in Armidale, and that was one of the best things I've ever done because it's this nice little community theatre. This guy rocks up. It was snowing the day before. There was still snow on the roads. It's cold. This guy's rocking up in a singlet. He's looking like Damo from Damo and Darren, plonking down. Do you need a jacket? Nah, I'm fine. Well, I'm indoors now, aren't I? King. I had my firefighter uniform taken at a protest that I used for stripping because I climbing up the fountain in a cheap hanger. Bo, that did not happen. Hang on. You have a sexy fireman outfit. Proud of you. Proud of you. Going up a hill and you G-bagger. What are you protesting? Clothes. This is what's happening. That's awesome. I feel like donning the red coat to crush this sovereign citizenship stuff while it's small, plus the neo-Nazis. Korea was mad, by the way. Border was like a theme park. Oh, totally, isn't it? You're about to enter the most dangerous ride for Universal Studio standards. Hey, in Brisbane, there was definitely more than 10k people. Lockie, was there? Was there more than 10k? Look, we will try and find the numbers if we can. In fact, let's do something very boring and lame. Let's see how many people marched. All right. Thousands attended the anti-Australia. This is from BBC, so more fake news. But let's see what the main scheme media says. Oh, they've got a paywall. Oh, no, they don't. What the hell? BBC has ads. Thousands of Australians have turned up for the anti-migration rallies across the country that were condemned by the government as having far-right links and spreading hate, blah, blah, blah. How many people was there? Including One Nation Senator Pauline Hanson. Really? Those are our politics? And, of course, oh, yeah, we'll be talking about Bob later on. Australia has faced recent high right-wing extremism. Oh, no, they made the Nazi salute. Okay, anyway, up to 8,000 people assembled for it at the Sydney rally. Okay, well, that's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. It's nowhere near as big as I thought it would be with the amount of mainstream media coverage that there was. And frankly, don't you think that the reason for that is, all right, if you're going to the Gaza March, you're getting good boy points from everyone, especially these kinds of people, you BBC types. Oh, yes, it's very brave. So what are you doing? To use an old, outdated 2016 internet term, you're virtue signaling, aren't you? So you're only going to get props to go to that one. To go to an anti-immigration rally, damn, your employer better be very based. You're risking a lot. You're risking a lot going there. And so I think that immediately just off that, because instead of virtue signaling, to use a 2024 phrase, you're vice signaling, aren't you? It's saying something harsh. And so as a result of that, I immediately thought that the numbers were going to be way less. 8,000 sounds about right. This is one of the rare instances, if I can use a Simpsons quote, which I've never done ever on this channel before, but I think I was right about this. And no, kids, I'm scared too. Adelaide, 15,000. All right, yeah, that's pretty decent. Because, look, Adelaide has a CBD of about 4 streets, so they would have been absolutely jam-packed. Desi Freeman, a conspiracy theorist and self-described sovereign citizen who accused shooting 2 dead police officers on his property earlier this week, large-scale manhunt. What does that got to do with the march? Get back to the numbers! Is that all we've got? Yeah, tell me how many people there were in Melbourne. Melbourne sounds hectic. Let's see this. 5 to 8,000. Sydney group says deconstruction. Oh yeah, and the Sydney Marathon was on at the same day. See, this is what I'm talking about. Look, maybe people don't like immigrants and like being health conscious and want to raise awareness for cardio-related diseases. So you've immediately taken out a huge crossover in the Venn diagram, I'm assuming. Let's just look at these comments for a second. Mass immigration sounds like a phrase ripped from the propaganda playbooks of the US oligarch PDFs. Trust me, not many people actually protested compared to the Palestinian protests over the bridge, especially in the regional areas. Albany got 6 protesters. Bendigo had just 1 person. That is not true. 1 person. Oh, in the home of the Eureka Stockade flag too. 1. Ripping it. Please make sure that lone man had to be carrying the flag in that same classic photo up against that Ballarat. Yeah, but yeah, no, I know it's all. Look, it's all the same place to me. Regional Victoria. Hang on, let's just keep going. 1 sec here. I live near the march route in Adelaide, heard them coming and went out to have a giggle. My neighbours, immigrants, saw me and wondered what I was laughing at. Offended said, "These idiots." And then I said, "They pro-immigrants." Self-help question. I want to do some late night riding, but my dog is asleep on my leg, and if I move, I feel like a CUNT. How do I solve this? Aren't you on your computer now? Or are you just on your phone? Start writing notes on your phone. That's how you solve it. God, I'm good at this stuff. Hey, check out my channel on that. This is all this is going to be, isn't it? Me vaguely reading articles and every now and then saying, I've got other things to sell. I mean, I suppose that is just YouTube in a nutshell, isn't it? I've joined the ranks, finally. After 13 years. Swarmed with hundreds of supporters at the rally of Townsville. See, it's just not impressive, is it? Townsville, I'm very disappointed in you for leaving Bobcatter high and dry with just a few hundred people. I'd very much like to know collectively how many they think happened. Guardian, no, Nazis, I can't watch it. I need something at least slightly... okay, WA today. Thousands march, WA Parliament. WA Police put the crowd around 10,000 people. All right, so... am I right to assume, chat let me know, that the general march strength in most capital cities was around the 10,000 mark? Is that fair? Look, I'll give you this. slightly bigger than I thought it would be. 8,000 sounded like the right mark for me. You remember those two hecklers from your Central Coast Alien show? I'm the deaf guy, and we wanted to apologise for heckling you. It was an awesome show, and we'll make sure to be on our best behaviour next time you were there. Yeah, but man, you made that an awesome show. And by the way, no, it wasn't. The Central Coast show was one of the worst shows that I've done this year. Because I feel really bad about this. I was not paying attention to you people. You did sort of bring me back to being present during that show. Most of the time I was just thinking about the election. It was terrible that lined up. I was as disorganised as these marches. But thank you, and you are forgiven for being so rude. Interesting difference in the amount of attendees between recent pro-Palestinian protests versus March for Australia. Oz people seemingly don't want to resonate with M4A. Too internet-y for me, don't know what that means. Thank you very much for the $5 though. A lot of boobers in these rallies, but they'll never sell their houses less than 7 figures. Hypocrite! To right. And then Lachlan Wilson just posts 6 Australian flags. Do more in the future, mate. Tony Abbott used to stick 8 behind him, and that's what I want to see from you at a minimum from now on. And I will also get this up as well. One sec. And I'll also put the microphone next to me. I'll do a lot of things for you people, but I will get... All right, now before we continue on, I will say this. Perth seemed like 15k plus. I was there for the marathon. Was there a marathon in Perth as well? What's with all these healthy people? Sitting home like a normal person. Need to deport the people building our houses to solve our housing crisis. We'll get to that. There's some truth to it. Lachlan then posts... I think 80 flags as a result. See, that's what I'm talking about. Be more patriotic than Tony Abbott minimum, and that is a very, very high bar. I mean, the guy was Prime Minister of this country. That's quite patriotic. Darcy Roll, $5. Thank you very much just for that 5. Anyway, now that we're all here, what happened today? Signs of thickening Nazism, if you're to read The Guardian. And then everybody else, it was sort of, there was a lot of people quite confused about why they were outside, walking in the wrong direction a lot of the time, with some vague notions about migration's too high. And that seems to be mostly what happened across the country. At around the area ballpark of 10,000 people, some say 15,000, some say 8,000, but let's just say for safe measure that it was 200,000 per city, okay? I think that's the fairest thing to do when we have disputed numbers. Greatly exaggerate them. And these people were marching and they wanted their voices heard about migration. The thing is, like with every single protest in human history ever, I don't think that they are on the same page as to what they want. I think it's mostly just the same thing that happens in virtually every protest ever. People go out, okay, that was good. Now that we've made our voices heard about all these migrants, let's go get some falafels. That's, I think, generally what happened. In fact, I did see a great picture somewhere of like anti-migration protesters getting lunch at a Chinese restaurant. And the flag's on them as the Cape still. Anyway, Geordies, why do you think the far right is so much more predominant in Melbourne versus other capital cities? P.S. There was 3 people in Launceston. See, this is what I'm talking about, these varying figures. Launceston, I can't believe it. Okay, at the very least, it seems like it's in the single digits. I have no idea why Melbourne is so hectic, but Melbourne has always been a protest town. That's it. They are sort of the first free town, actually, Launceston is, and Launceston really living up to its roots there with its vigorous public furor. But I think that's the main reason. Melbourne has a real culture of getting out on the streets and letting your voice be heard. They've always had that. Regardless of what your political inclinations are, they like going out. It's cold down there. They can't surf much. It's not much else. You have to make your own fun. 20k max for the protesters overall. More counter protesters. Also, anyone with a brain can figure out that migrants ain't the issue. I hate the red and sign is considered racist. I bought mine when it was Abbott talked about classes within Australia, and Australians should serve the government. Fair point. ABC headline from earlier this year: Queensland facing 54,000 infrastructure workforce shortfall ahead of the Olympic Games, data shows, but let's deport them. Yes, now, Kyle, this is a good point. This is the trickiness of talking about migration, which is, like with virtually any protest that ever happens, there is a kernel of truth to it. A really good one that I like to use as an example is climate change, right? And I know this from experience because I have been to a couple of climate change protests back in the day. But you talk to the average person that's marching about climate change and they don't know anything about it. Nothing. Like the average person sitting in their air-conditioned office making the planet hotter would probably know more than the organisers of a lot of these protests for climate change. I'm just using that as the standard example because I have talked to some of the organisers of it, and what do? You see a bunch of people that just are really loud, want some attention, want some selfies, and want to go home, right? Generally, that is what I've noticed a lot from these protests, and as a result of that, it's always extremely vague what they want. So with this, for instance, there is this sentiment in the public that there are too many migrants coming into Australia, which is statistically undeniable. Yeah? What I never, ever can get across to these people, or anyone else, when it comes to climate change, when it comes to Gaza, when it comes to COVID, none of these, there's always this sentiment of, do the thing that is in my head that I don't really understand. Government, that I don't really understand what that is either. But Albo's at the front of it, so I'm sure he just is in a giant room like that spider in Spirited Away, putting in all the herbs, and just put in the right herbs to make it all go away. But the reality is, yeah, migration is at historic highs. It is nowhere near as high as what, say, 2GB and the rest of them are endlessly reporting, and what you'll see over and over again in the TikTok stats of whatever number. It always seems to just get inflated. Have you ever noticed this? It originally started with, I think, 400,000 coming in a year. Now we're up to 1 million migrants in a year. Realistically, if we just think about this, don't quote me on these statistics, but I think on average in Australia, about 500 people die a day and about 800 people are born a day. So we are replacing that entrenchment, and you would think, yeah, well, there's a surplus of the population. What you are aiming for in population growth, generally, is a nice sit around something between 1% and 2%. I think it's better to be on the safer side of the 1%. It should be at about that 1% mark. That would give your migrants that need to come in every year at around, let's say, every day, sorry, not every year. Every day it would probably be nice to be in the sweet spot of, say, 400 to 600, something like that. Again, my maths is probably off, but, you know, rough numbers here, rough numbers. I think at the moment it's probably around 900. It's a lot. It's not, you know, they're flooding in. There is a Sydney of people coming into this country every month. It's none of that stuff. They do try and paint this picture a lot, and in fact, to illustrate my point, I will just read, because this was a very good article that came from Independent Australia, as always. Big fans of those guys, and it's got a bunch of annoying pop-ups in front of it, but whatever. First anti-immigration outrages propositions since the post-war migration program are planned for the 31st of August 2025. Anyway, the most egregious lies, because this is what's happening over and over again, they are misusing Australian Bureau of Statistics data, which is always a bad start to anything. Yeah? It's kind of the same. I will go back to the climate change point, where they will say a bunch of stats that are scary about climate change, they will say things like, oh, we need to be at net zero before 2050. We're not doing enough now. And it's true, but it's never factored into that, for instance, that a lot of these government programs and agreements that are happening across the planet, first off, they need to be agreed upon, then they need to be implemented. A lot of the technology that we need to get to 2050 hasn't even been invented yet, but the general trend and directory is in the right way. And so instead, they kind of just fearmonger and say absolutely nothing is happening. We are hurtling towards catastrophic climate change. When the reality is that's still true to an extent, but they will never acknowledge, for instance, that only a few years ago we were hurtling to like 4 degrees, 4.5 degrees, which is truly catastrophic. That's like Venus. But then that's been more than halved. That's been more than halved. And that's just with the agreements that are in place. It will be halved even more because every time you go to these rounds of agreements, there has been a lot of very significant progress every single time you have one of these UN summits. Also, technology, especially in renewables, keeps getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, which makes it easier and easier to roll out. And then there are all these exciting technologies that are coming online. The point is, the nation is moving, the world is moving in the right direction. Sorry, I will just move on to this. Australia should close its borders to New Zealand, stop stealing Kiwis, stop being so good for us to compete. Yeah, exactly. I do agree with that. Stop coming over here and taking our doll. Someone who's gonna do the bad jobs. Someone said, who's gonna do the bad jobs? She's like medieval times. Melbourne's Labor heartland and Murdoch dominant, so Labor is both completely dominant and not being voted for by anyone according to the media. Always. The no foreign flags for the rallies are revealing for the actual mindset of these people who claim that they don't hate immigrants. Immigration is only a small part of the housing crisis problem. See, Darcy he's onto it. He gets it, right? I think that that's pretty much the crux of the issue, which is that there is a migration problem in this country. I think that the organisers of this march were using that general sentiment for, I don't know, some kind of idea of, oh, we're going to bring back white Australia or something, which is like, I mean, even if you want that, you're living in fantasy land. I'll go back to virtually any protest ever. Every single protest is fantasy land. There's no actionable outcomes generally. The outcomes that they do have that are concrete aren't possible. Trust me, you don't want to go back to a white Australia. You don't because, and this is a big key problem with migration at the moment, the reason the migration is high is because there has been 30 years, starting with John Howard. It's like everything else. All right, here we go. We're going into the John Howard part of this stream, are we? Why am I talking to myself? I'm the one speaking. But John Howard doubled the migration rate back in the day. And why did he do that? The reason that he did it is because there was CEOs of Coles that wanted cheap growth, that they could go back to their shareholders and say, look, profits have increased 2%. And it's very easy to increase profits by 2% if you have increased the population by 2%. So that was a distinct Howard policy. While he was able to get these types to vote for him by saying, we're going after refugees, he was letting in literally boatloads of people. It's just that they weren't the illegal documented ones. And another thing that I think has happened a lot with the globalization of the internet is that a lot of these talking points that these people now have aren't even specific to our migration problem. As in, the migration problem in Europe, the migration problem in the UK, the migration problem in the US is far worse than it is in Australia. And it is because, even if you're in Britain, you can swim across the English Channel. You don't even need a boat. These places are hard to police. Australia is easy as to police. Yeah? You know generally where the people smugglers are going to go. You can put some Navy ships on there. You can stop the trade. It was stopped. It was stopped. Successfully stopped. So mostly what is happening is migration that is legal comes from planes, but mostly the migration is legal. And the reason that it is legal is because it was set up in such a way to pave over the economic vandalism, let's say, that John Howard was doing to this country by starting to privatise TAFE, starting to cut funding to education. As I've said 1,000 times, there really is only two ways to achieve growth in any country across the world. There's two ways to do it. You can either upskill your population, or you can just dump bucket loads of people, chuck them all out in Western Sydney, whatever, and then that creates growth through general consumption of more petrol being bought, more food being eaten. That will also stimulate the economy. That will make it grow. The problem is, because the Liberals have been in for so long, and when the Labor Party was in for that brief period under Rudd and Gillard, they were dealing with the global financial crisis and the repercussions of it. There was also the cost of living crisis that was really hitting, and in those two contexts, you can't reduce migration. This is the only way the economy is growing, because I can guarantee you one thing. You have these people marching on the streets saying there's too many migrants now. If they cut migration tomorrow, like a lot of these people are saying, I heard some guy say, we need like a 5-year ban on migrants. If they had a 5-year ban on migration, I can guarantee you that same guy would be marching on the street in about 6 months' time about how he doesn't have a job. You would immediately go into a recession, because that is the thing that is keeping our economy going. Then you have people saying, well, why don't they just upgrade the TAFEs? Which is exactly what they're doing with free TAFE, which is exactly what they're doing with Anthony Albanese's education revolution. It's also about him tightening migration. The thing is, when the Liberals are in, they let in... First off, they let in gangsters through like the gold class visa program. So that was scrapped by the Labor Party. They've got all of these different types of visas where it's like, oh, you know, this specific type of construction worker, developers want them in, so we'll just flood the market with a bunch of cheap migrants in that specific skilled field. What the Labor Party does every time it's in is start narrowing in what specific type of migration we need for the challenges that are facing this country. And that has been widely addressed. This, in the last term, Anthony Albanese's government was the first one to meaningfully reduce migration numbers, I think, since the Hawke Keating years. No one else has done it. It's already happening. Migration is getting met, but the thing is that you can't just turn it off tomorrow. Like, it's a tap that you have to slowly do, and it is never going to be zero migration. You don't want zero migration. This is the whole point, yeah? If you really understood the challenges facing this country, if you understood what the repercussions are of doing these things, every single time it's like, oh, you know, just tell the Reserve Bank to stop increasing numbers. There's ramifications to these things, and no one ever thinks about the knock-on effects of it, right? I am very much of the opinion, I am not one of these cucks and soys, if you will, of like, I mean, how pathetic was it seeing all the people on TikTok being like, just so you know, you're welcome here. I'm really not in that camp. I'm just like, if you are of a use to this country, okay, in you get. But that's it. Like, to me, everyone that lives here is a statistic, including myself, right? It's all just about nation building. Is it in the national interest or not? And like everything, like when it comes to privatization, when it comes to migrants, when it comes to environmental policy, or going back on environmental policy so that you can build houses quicker, all of these things are tools, and they do need to be adjusted and readjusted through times. But we're talking about finicky little changes here and there that I'm absolutely certain, looking at the caliber of people that are at these rallies, they are not interested in. Maybe some of them are. But generally, that's what you're looking for when it comes to migration. You are looking for migration that is in the national interest. I'm talking about making it profitable and more sustainable for everybody that lives here as it is, right? It is a tool. That's the way that you should look at this. And it's always going to be there. It's a really strange idea to think you would have to stop migration immediately. I mean, Jesus, even Japan, the most anti-migrant country in the world, has realised we can't continue to do this. We just can't. There are gaps that are happening. It's because the population is aging. You need other people to move in to fill those gaps. These skills and these jobs are needed. But if you have too much, like what is happening now, you get real strains on, for instance, housing is a very good one. But then you have this very glib argument when it comes to housing where it says, okay, so you're telling me that you import more migrants So they live here to build more houses. You're seeing the problem? And it's like, yes, in your mind, if it's just, in you go, you don't have to do anything, sit on the dole. Yeah, that's bad. But there is a construction, labour and material shortage in this country. And there is a need for specific skills to build those houses because we just don't have them in this country, again, because the TAFE system was decimated. This is why the biggest accomplishment of the Albanese government of the last term, I stand by a mile, free TAFE. That is literally what builds the nation. Literally what builds the nation is when you have the blue collars of a society trained. This is kind of what happened in Germany, even though that's not a very good example because they really overdid it with the migration. But in terms of their TAFE stuff, they did it well. That's what you need. You need that engine training the youths of this country so that they can earn more, that they can have a better quality of life, and that the nation has the skills that they need. So again, you can turn back the migration tap a little bit. And the other big problem that happens when you have huge influxes is it's not just housing, it's infrastructure as well. Infrastructure is bad. For instance, I don't even know what the numbers are at the moment, but I do remember that there were premiers saying we literally cannot build enough schools to house the population that we have. We're at record levels of building schools. We cannot teach all of these kids. It has to be turned back. It's also roads. It's also traffic congestion. It's also environmental impacts. All of these things can be addressed when migration is at a sensible level. What I'm saying here really should be the general opinion of everybody. When you really think about what migration is, why we're using it, how it is of use to you and the country, you really should come to the same conclusions as Bob Carr back in the day, when he was, as Premier, saying, this is really starting to strain our infrastructure. And he was begging the federal Liberal government at the time, let's ease back on this. And like, no, Coles wants more profit. Sorry, someone gave me $50. I've got to say this. I'm an immigrant from South Africa and said anyone attending the march can block me. Had some people say it's not racism, it's about bad migrants and crime, not good migrants. Like me, showed them ACVS stat on crime, 83% prisoners are Aussie born. Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about, right? Like, these are all talking points. Exactly what he said. Thank you for the $50. These are all talking points that are obviously lifted from the spin machine of the United States. These are not people that even live in the country that they apparently are so proud and patriotic of. Look, I think at the core of all of this, there is a point. But as they're saying there, it's really, they're going into completely the wrong angle. And I think that it's because, we all know at the end of the day, there's a contingency there that are genuinely concerned about the migration numbers. And I think that those people did show up. And then obviously there's other people that, we know that they are seriously thinking, I don't like Indians. And, I hate Indians as much as the next man too. Unless the next man after me is Pakistani. And then that guy really hates Indians. But, like, what are you talking about here, right? Like, it's just, that's a big contingency of it. What's with all the Indians? Too many curry shops. That's a big proponent of it. It's like, it's just obvious in the demeanour of these people. You definitely deserve some more money. Thank you, Jordan. Well, thank you, Sarah. That's very nice. Thank you for the $30. $20. So you Liberal voters lost to Labor in a huge way, and you heard this guy, Jordan, has something to do with that. How about you stop talking mad shit in chat and actually listen? I went to a curry house run by white bogans in far east of Victoria. It had banana in it, also munted from hot vindaloo with bananas. We need some migrants. Nah. I want to try that place. Don't shit on them. Stop being racist. I really want to try the curry with the bananas in it. No, that's a real Woman's Weekly thing. They're always, you want to know my tip? Yes, I do. The real question is, why aren't we having 2 to 4 kids like every generation before us? And it's because of cost of living. look, I think that cost of living does have an impact on having 2 to 4 kids like the previous generations before us. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. But I also think that it is that we are a bunch of entitled little shits that are like, but I like watching Netflix and chilling on the Saturdays and kids are annoying. There's a big contingency of that, and I am very guilty of it. I am putting that off like I am going to a parent-teacher interview, because I don't want to go to any parent-teacher interviews. They were scary enough, let alone being the parent thinking, now going full circle, and being, what did my little shit do this time? White Australians get a taste of being a minority and they lose the plot. Well, look, hang on. I'll say this. One sec. Jordan's another big thing they're talking about is how migration is affecting voting patterns. Like 85% of Indians vote Labor. What's your take? Yeah, ethnicities do vote in certain patterns. That's undeniable. That's definitely undeniable. I would say it probably is pretty evenly balanced, though, isn't it? Generally speaking. You have certain sects. I don't really know what the voting patterns are here. I think the ones that are the swing voters really are the Chinese population. Sometimes they vote Liberal, sometimes they vote Labor. I think they always vote majority Labor, but if you can peel off enough of the Chinese vote, you can win seats. I think that's how it works. But yes, obviously another big pattern of it is that you have huge influxes of migration, and you don't even have to go into the past, for instance. I can go into the past, and if you'd like me to, I'd very much like to have my very autistic ancient Rome points about migration. But please let me do it. But, you know, Germany, for instance, recently, that did undeniably have serious problems for integration in Germany. That's just a fact. France, same thing. Britain, same thing. Europe, a lot of those places have had big influx of migration, and it has been terrible for them. That's what I'm saying, though, right? Like, it's anybody that usually you hear online talking about I'm pro-migration or I'm anti-migration. It's so simplistic. It's such a simplistic way of looking at the world. It's really just this vibe thing of, I'm a good person because I like people from other cultures, or it's just like, the reason they're coming here is because I like my culture. At the end of the day, what's really sad about the migration debate is that it is a culture war. It shouldn't be a culture war. I understand why it's so easy to turn it into one, obviously, because it's literally about cultures, but it shouldn't be. It really should be is this in the national interest of the country? And that is a bean counting statistic point. And we can go into those because there's a really good article there, but you guys just keep giving me money, so I'm going to have to be nice to all of you people. Want to ban immigration, want to seesaw foreign ownership, give all the land back to the black fellas in, problem solved. I bet they don't want to do that, though. Touche. Sassy the Sasquatch? I didn't realise that he was a fan. Some stoner sitting there. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Geordie, yeah, he's American. I'm for the end mass migration. There's too many American, British, Kiwi, Africans, Asians, etc. I'm 23 and I can't see myself ever renting my own unit unless I live out west in another state. $700 a week for a bedroom. WTF. That's definitely, if you are going to be talking about the housing thing, because a lot of the time they're always conflating when it comes, this is what I'm talking about. It is way more nuanced. Even if you want to go into the housing argument, you actually do have a point there, by the way. When it comes to rentals, yeah, migration absolutely impacts rental prices, because the rental market is much more supply and demand than buying houses is. Although, if you want to get nuanced again, supply and demand is a big factor in the buying housing crisis as well. But that's what we're saying. There's many different types of housing crises that are happening at the moment. And yes, migration on these large numbers certainly isn't helping. That's undeniably true. There's also a bunch of other factors when it comes to housing. But when it comes to renting specifically, migration has a lot to do with it, yes. Already have the curry recipes, send them back. Yeah, but don't you think, all right, Bronzo, that's true to an extent. And I do know that there is a lot of those cheap Indian places that you go to in the mall, and it's like, $15 for 3 different curries, and you have that, and it's like, this is just Patax. I get that. But good white people curry, it doesn't taste the same. We have different enzymes in our hands. I don't know what it is. It tastes nice. I'll give white people this. We make our own good curry, but don't you think that it tastes very Woman's Weekly? It doesn't have that authentic, straight out of Bangladesh kind of taste to it, does it? Those 1,500 a day are not permanent migrants. It's about 185,000 a year, including the partner visas. I've been in Australia for 7 years. I'm an engineer. It's super hard to become a permanent resident. I still can't get it. Yes, true. Yes, that's definitely true. And the 1,500 a day, that's what we were going to talk about now. So, if everybody could just stop giving me money and being nice to me, we will go on with that article. Because I think that this does get at the root of what all these protests were about. One sec. Yeah, here's what Ben Fordham said. Butt stuff Ben. The greatest intellect in the Channel 9 ecosphere. You ready for this? Get a load of this. Every single day, Australia is now taking in 1,544 new people. 1,544 per day. These are the latest numbers. Now, that's the equivalent of 5 fully loaded Boeing 787 Dreamliners. Day up. Why does he know so much about planes? Is he an autist? Week after week, in the first 6 months of this year, we've had 279,000 rifles. I'm an idiot. See, this is the whole thing. None of us should be talking about migration. None of us work at the Bureau of Statistics, but nonetheless, we will feel really smug and superior against Ben Fordham because I think we could all agree everyone in this chat is way smarter than him. Fordham was actually referring to net permanent and long-term movements for the first 6 months of 2025. These totaled to be that figure, the 2,700 figure, or whatever I said before. He was making the same mistake deliberately or otherwise as Adam Cretan made in The Australian, who said the government promised to cut net migration back to sustainable pre-COVID levels before the election, which would imply 250,000 a year. See, that is not sustainable, I don't think anyway. That 250,000 a year is not sustainable. That was Howard numbers. Before, in the Hawke years, it was 100,000. Howard doubled it to about 200,000. Now they're just saying that that's the new number. And I think that it's just because of their Howardism. It has hovered for this year for the calendar. It is on track to exceed 550,000. I will say this about that 250,000 number as well. That is also falling prey to exactly what we're about to talk about in a second. So it is better than those numbers. Cretan and Fordham use NPLT is identical to net migration. The Institute of Public Affairs issued a media statement also making the same mistake. Yeah, because, see, it's the ecosphere. It's the ecosphere, so they're all saying the same stuff. The ABS sought to correct this via this media statement in which the ABS said, multiple media stories have been published this week using overseas arrivals and departures data to make commentary on migration numbers. This data does not reflect the official ABS definition of migration and may lead to an inaccurate conclusion on migration. Overseas arrivals and departures data is a count of border crossings rather than migration. Permanent and long-term movements come from traveller declarations and are not contingent on the traveller's residency status prior to travel. For example, this means a person who has been living in Australia for 3 years on a temporary visa and then travels overseas multiple times can count as a long-term visitor arrival many times over. See, this is one of the big issues with these numbers that they're always flying around, is that a lot of these are phantom numbers. It's the same person getting counted numerous times. Rather than accept the mistake, these anti-immigration groups have doubled down, accusing the ABS of being a politicised or indulging in censorship. Hey, the Bureau of Statistics doesn't agree with me. Biased. So good. See, that always is my indicator of when you should stop trusting someone, I think. It's when they can never, ever say any... It's just as soon as someone doesn't agree with them, you're biased. Anything that I think. Pure objectivism. Immigration made this country one of the best countries in the world. Think of all those Yugoslavs and Wogs who made Australia home. It ain't immigrants that are the problem. It's the issues themselves. Housing, road, jobs, etc. Yeah, but see, this is what Vladinator, this is what I'm talking about in that instance. When WOGs were getting drawn in here, it was because we needed them post-war. Yeah. So there are instances in a country's development or in a nation's history when there is going to be a need for a large number of immigrants. And there's going to be other times when you need to decrease the number. Widely speaking, though, true. Is the MAGA hat still on sale? What the hell are you talking about, no one? I'm sure if you go on Trump.com, you can get a MAGA hat. Have you seen Shane Dowling's new video? Kevin Rudd is apparently your sugar daddy because he tweeted about your fundraiser. The lol cow strikes again. Oh, I'm quivering in my boots because that's a very easy video to do and it'll get me heaps of clicks. Thanks, Shane. What a fucking idiot that guy is. There's so many of them, isn't there? There's so many of them that just get their own little contingency of insane people. And because these people are insane and they want their world view getting reinforced endlessly, because to an insane person, what is the most valuable thing to them? Their world view. And so they're willing to pay top dollar. So people like Shane and a bunch of the other whinge merchants that just endlessly tout this crap, they're doing fine in life. Like, that's Shane Dowling's only job, despite the fact that he gets piddly numbers. It's because he's got a few whales in there paying him. It's the same way that gambling works, for instance, yeah? Generally, there's some people that lose, some people that gain, and it kind of goes in and out like that. What you're looking for is those few Hong Kong billionaires to come over and lose $8 million on a single roll of the dice. Just dropped in, so I don't know if you've seen it yet, but I'd love to show you the photo from the ABC article with the 5 people who showed up in Launceston. Oh, okay, all right. I did not know that that is a... Finally, we can finally determine, once and for all, was there 3 people at Launceston or 8? That is the big question of today. I can't find it. I'm too lazy. Whatever. Let's continue on. NPLT movements data can be used as a lead indicator of net migration, but only in conjunction with other corroborating evidence as it happened. NPLT movements in 2023 and 2024 was very close to net migration in that year, and these anti-immigration groups have assumed it will always be the same. There we go. Once corroborating evidence in 2024 and 2025 is considered, it is clear net migration in 2024-2025 will be nowhere near the 450,000 the IPA and the Daily Mail and others are saying. An outcome of around 350 to 380,000 is more likely. That would be well down on net migration in 2023-2024 of 445,000. Hence the contrary picture these anti-immigrants outlets are trying to paint. Moreover, in 2025, there will be nowhere near the 550,000 plus that Ben Fordham was suggesting. We will get confirmation on net migration outcomes in 2024-2025 when the ABS pushes data on net migration. It is likely then these anti-immigration groups will continue to miss loose. Yeah, okay. So that's all there. And I do want to just see... Let's check this out. Let's see permanent migration, because I know that there's other types of migration that you can definitely include in this, but that's the big boy. Let's see, permanent migration numbers. The permanent migration program has a planning level of 180,000. 190, 185,000. So that's the big enchilada right there. This is the other thing that I think happens a lot of the time with the fear-mongering of these numbers. When they say there's going to be 500,000 migrants, you know, there's student visas, there's people there that are just on tourism visas, and all of these things just accumulate into that. But it's not really people that are here. National house prices today rose by 33% between July 2020 and April 2022. Lowest migration numbers were essentially zero. Yeah, Benjo, yeah, you're right. It's true, right? So exactly what he's saying there. Migration can impact housing prices, but not necessarily. There's a bunch of things that hit it. Jordan, let's live on the curry... Hang on. Bronze over right. Jordan, let's live on the curry situation, but can we at least deport RV Yemeni and all his ilk just to get these trains rolling? Don't know if we should be using the phrase trains with Jewish people, but can't wait to see you at the next meeting. City protest is quite peaceful. Meanwhile, Melbourne just became Cali light. Always. Let's look at some footage, shall we? Does anyone know any good footage that we can look at? Let's see. I'm just going to try that. Melbourne protest, RV Yemeni gets hit. Damn. Yeah, okay, he's put it on. Is there a short clip? I don't want to watch 3 hours of RV Yemeni. Does anyone just have the footage of him getting slammed? Please. Michael Finch, having completed an 820 partner with visa, my current partner, the whole process took 6 years from start to a permanent residency. Most of the anti-immigration people seem to think they have permanent residency immediately. See, Michael, this is why democracy doesn't work. Exactly what you're talking about. It's a bunch of people voting on things that they have no idea what they're talking about. It's vibe. We're always voting on vibe. Including everyone in here, right? I honestly think the good thing about the friendly Geordies ecosphere is we're at least smart enough to know that we're stupid. The problem with democracy is there's way too many stupid people who think they're geniuses. Is now a good time to start gooning, or should I wait for the really good stuff? I mean, you know, edge away now, and then we'll get you some jizzy material in a second. I'm going to try and find that. We'll just watch the highlight of the anti-migration protest from the most reliable source in the world, news.com. I mean, it has the word news in it. Yay! That's sick. It's just the Melbourne 2000 Olympics chants. In fact, there's very little difference between this and the Sydney Olympics, apart from the fact that bloody Melbourne it is. Cold bastards. Whoa, damn, look at that. I think that there's like a Cro-Magnon man there.
Let's go.
Yeah. A lot of bald guys. Don't you reckon? This has always been my theory on bald men. They're either the most chill guys there are, as in sort of your monks and the people that are always, I live in the Blue Mountains, those kind of guys. Or it's always those guys with the speed dealer sunglasses. Let me see if I've got it. Yeah, there we go. Here we go. Or it's this guy. Just a lot of this. What the fuck did you say to me, dog? I mean, look, hang on. Let's just compare me right now to a bunch of these rally protesters. Stand up for Australia. You bastard. This is the... Look, it's me. I'm there. I'm attending this rally. I'm showing my solidarity. Dogs! Dogs! Get out of here, you capoeiras. See, I do very much like when you have this type of guy protesting. There's a lot more of that sound, isn't there? A bunch of bulldogs going at it. That like, that sound. See, that's what you need for a good protest. They've got the aesthetic right. Get him! Get him! what are they spraying? I gotta take these sunglasses off. It's already crap footage to begin with. Stand up for Australia! I gotta say, man, look, the Sydney one is tame. You know, honestly, this is my theory on why everything in Sydney is always just a bit lackluster when it comes to protests, and Melbourne isn't. It's the Freetown thing. Melbourne is sort of the real story of Australia being a free place. And so they took destiny into their own hands. Whereas Sydney always had that thing of, can I have some more bread, Governor? You can have some more bread after you've emptied out the rum barrels. Yeah, can I drink any of that? No, or you'll get another lashing. Right, you are. I'll just get back in me cell. So, look at this. We always have weak, pissy turnouts. You know what I mean? Like, that is true convict stock. So that would have been the ones that should have been sent to Tasmania. This is where the early British government failed. All of these people should be at that Launceston protest where there was 8. These are the free thinkers. They should not be here. It should all just be a bunch of very obedient convicty scum like me that stays inside my little cell all day, being like, I get to go out for 20 minutes as long as I've got some of my bread at the end of the day. 20 minutes. One sec. Geordie's looking like Barry Hall as Keith in the Play Lunch from Music video. Thank you. I don't know what that is, but okay. The LNP created this problem. Don't let anyone forget that. Letting the NDIS, aged care and childcare rot without huge corruption and printing visas. Yep. There we go. Can we please agree that US-style right-wing politics doesn't belong in Australia? We should all reject politics based on race, immigration and stuff. I don't want to see our own version of ICE. Yeah, but Latinator, you never will. You never, ever will. Because we are just such a more relaxed place. Even when it got really hectic in Melbourne just then, don't you think the whole time you're looking at it and you're thinking, yeah, it's just try-hard California. You're just doing an impression of it. Just like your sad little... I bet you it's even called the Melbourne Eye. You know, you little crap Ferris wheel, Melbourne. You're just copying London. Get your own identity. Jimmy, can you please leave the video up? I'm off to Sleepy Land and would love to listen to the rest of work tomorrow. Thank you for being the voice of reason. Thank you, Kiara. Thank you. Someone has to do it. Richard Wolff believes in democracy at work. Don't know what you mean by that, but okay. Is now a good time to... Yeah, wait, I already asked the Goonie one. All right, let's get back to the action. Me.
Australia, our country is here. Australia. Real Australians sing.
Hey, why isn't there more boxing kangaroo flags? Not that I am opposed to sweet lady liberty here. Even I'm America-pilled. I don't even know what we call ours. What do we call it? What was it again? What did Seinfeld say? The Union Jack at night. It's a nice way of saying it, isn't it?
stand up and say enough is enough.
I'm telling you, it just reminds me of the 2000 Olympics. It is a bunch of people yelling Aussie, 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 oi, 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 with a bad microphone. There are new porta potties set up on the south side of the arena. You are currently on the east side. Walk in a southerly direction. No, don't pee on the cop car. You couldn't. Okay, well, we'll set some up there tomorrow. Everybody wandering aimlessly around with Australian flags. Where do we go now? Why do these protesters not have any diversity? All I see is white dudes. Jackson from Red Thread, which you can check out, which always has some very good videos on it. And I'm not just saying it because I'm on it, but that is a mad call. Thank you, Jackson. Stop giving me money, though. Bloke with a megaphone sounds like the auctions cattle does it. Bloke with a megaphone sounds like he does auctions cattle for a living. Yeah, they've got that sound to it. Hey Jordan, I don't know if you remember me, but I was the guy that yelled out Gina Swinehart and David Little down at your Geelong show. Wanted to say nice hairs. You shut up, Owen, and you keep that to yourself. Now let's continue on.
Enough. Today, it doesn't feel like the country I grew up in anymore. I always hear foreign languages and foreign people stare at me with hostility.
Yeah, see, I think that's pretty much all it is. That's pretty much all it ever boils down to is this is not the place that I grew up in. And I suppose that's true, but I would imagine that people in their 30s, were saying this is not the country that I grew up in. And it would have been for different reasons. I pretty much think what people are saying there most of the time is, I miss being 15 and my joints not hurting.
Put a ring on a young...
It's cool looking at the different vibe of angry One Nation voter across the East Coast line, because they all have their own different flavour, don't they? Melbourne, by a mile, are the most aggro ones. Then the Sydney ones are sitting there, and obviously, as you would imagine, because it's Sydney, they'll be like, why is there so many Indians in the way? Whining. That's what Sydney does best. That's why I hate it. I've got a real hate on for people that just sit there and whinge in politics. It's because I'm from Sydney and that's all we ever do. There's no action. You never take it to the streets like in Melbourne, and then you sort it out by just spraying capsicum spray in each other's eyes. That's the way you should do protests.
His finger and give her security and a family. Marry her.
And then look at this. Like, look at this guy. I wish... Okay, first off, the man that is blocking the hilarious man is hilarious in himself. But... you could just tell by how many... That guy is going to be a... It's everything about Queensland is just funnier. It's funnier. And they've even got a different accent. Excuse me. I like this. This is cool. It's like a nice... You know, they say that Australia doesn't have any culture. There is a clear distinction between the three. These guys support the Maroons. The legendary Tom owning 35,000 properties on vacant while blaming... The legendary Tom owning 35,000 properties on vacant while blaming immigration for the housing crisis. Who? Is that a thing? Geordie, say in your best spoken, don't fuck with my trailer, cunt. Don't park in my spot. Done. Your wish is my command, Taylor. Jordan, are you willing to say the N-word if the super chat is funny enough? Yeah, in this anti-migration rally, I think we even titled it like, enough is enough. And then I'm just there spraying the N-word. Yeah, well, someone gave me $50. Yeah. I'll risk my 10-year channel without a strike on it for that.
Have kids if you can't...
There he is. Okay, look at him. He's the funniest man on earth. I'm sorry. We're going to have to zoom back on that.
Have kids.
Look at him! Sick. It's honestly, this is what's so sick about... The press try endlessly to try and paint it as, ooh, it's getting really scary and fascistic like it is in the United States. But really, first off, there's like a try-hard element of that, sure, whatever. But the Australia that they claim is dead, clearly, is alive and well. And that Australia is the Australia we all know and love, which is just being whiny, not giving that much of a shit. Even when you are motivated enough to march on the streets, you're still sitting there, can anyone hear me? Yeah, well, it's bullshit, isn't it? This sucks. I really can't tell the difference between this and going to the cricket. It's sick. Australia is such a better country than everywhere else, and let's not change that. They were peaceful. You ever done a skit like this for March for Palestine? Thought not, stoking the division. Yeah, but Jake, that is my exact point about this, though. Like, the March for Palestine stuff, the only reason that I wasn't doing that is because there was other things that were going on at the time. Such as me touring for like a month straight. But exactly the same thing. You could go to the Palestine March and you could tell that there would just be a bunch of bozos that don't know what they're talking about, being like, because that's protests. That's protests in a nutshell. This one, I think, in credit to the Gaza one, I think it was better organised than this one. This one was very impromptu. 30,000 Kiwis moved to Australia in 2024 to get away from our right-wing politics, unaffordable housing, cost of living. Good luck to you. Will they be deporting Bob Catter? Dude, I will act as his legal representation if they try to do that. Here you go, Jordan. Here's the quote. Well, for $50. Bronzo, I admire your effort.
You can't put a roof over your bloody head. It's not good enough. That's why we're here. They're not.
It's bullshit.
We can't build enough homes to house the people in the country. There's bloody tent cities in this city, everywhere. We've had enough. They need to listen to us.
See, this is what I'm talking about. No, sorry, I've got to show you this world's most hilarious man. Sorry.
There's bloody tent cities in this city, everywhere. We've had enough.
Tent cities in Brisbane. Come on. I'm sure there's a couple of homeless tents, but see, this is the same thing. And in fairness, with the Gaza stuff as well, you hear them just regurgitating points about Gaza, like we're the US empire, you know, like, well, we are, but like we're the United States. It's the same thing. All of these people are just so America-brained that they regurgitate whatever they see on whatever their, you know, totemic YouTuber in the United States that they watch says. This tent city stuff, it's such a lift from the United States.
They need to listen to us. Across this country, right now, people are protesting. We are speaking up. Send them bloody home. There are people.
Get right.
There's that many temporary visas. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! 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 Aussie, Aussie,
Aussie! Okay, sorry. I'll read some more comments and we'll continue on. FYI, Indian migrants came with Brits to Australia as labourers in the early 1800s. 15k Indians martyred at Gallipoli alongside Anzac forces. Really? But were they from the Indian contingency or were they Australian Indians? Sorry, I know that this is a comment that you paid money for, so thank you. You can't really answer that. But Jordan, this was a missed opportunity for a new misadventure. I can't because he's in bloody Japan. Also, will you make the Takey Pig shirt available at the merch store? Lastly, bring back Cave Goblin. Well, look, I think they were all capital ideas. I love how the Melts all came up with the same cause and ended up bluing with each other within about 10 minutes. Absolutely crown eaters. I think that's what was happening. All right, anyway, let's look at this. Avi Yemeni. I've got to see the punch. Is there like a... Let's try and find that together, shall we? If anyone has that link, let me know how to find it. No. Yes, he fights with pro-Palestinian protesters all the time. I want to see the new season of Avi Yemeni. What these Mongs don't realise is we wouldn't have kebabs without immigrants. Mongs. As a Carrot Top fan, I think that you should say something based and red-pilled. Oh, come on, look at how based... Can I get any more based and red-pilled than this, Bronzo? I think the answer is no. I think you're expecting far too much. Do city demographics play a role? I imagine regional Australia feels the same, but didn't want to put in the 3 hours of travel. Yeah, probably, Crack Dog, probably. Also, the other thing is, I think that migration just isn't as pertinent in the sticks. Thank you very much, Herman Cain with a mask. Give me $15. And excellent taste in a name, I will say as well. What the hell? Unched. Maybe here?
I've used solar for years, but without a battery, I was paying a fortune for nighttime fees.
Oh, that's...
Then I bought a smart battery.
Shut up! We don't care.
Yeah, so my question is, what do you feel about the crowd here walking around?
I look at everyone. Well, you have to support the support that Australia has really touches me. I can't lie. It really
Has
does.
anybody...
Yeah, okay, just... Where's the biff? Show me the damn biff. Oh, well, this actually just seems to be a highlight of biffs. Let's see.
This is caught in the middle. Thousands turning out, despite Premier Jacinta Allen condemning the march, labelling it un-Australian.
So you think
Despite a blockade of police on bikes, horses on foot, and in vehicles, rival protesters came head-to-head. The protest, called March for Australia, stormed its way to Parliament House and faced a lineup of the riot squad and police. Amongst the speakers that took to the stage, neo-Nazi leader Thomas Sewell, while others who joined the protest distanced themselves from the extreme views.
So I'm not anti-immigration, it's just we're letting too many in at once and people in Australia are struggling.
I mean, there's always going to be that element that's going to take it a little too far, unfortunately. Most of us don't stand with them.
always was, always be, it will be Aboriginal land.
On the other side, a pro-Palestinian rally running for almost 100 straight weeks, also showing support for Australian migrants.
Refugees are welcome!
Dude, it's just incredible, isn't it? It's like... I really wish this wasn't the case. I really do. But, God, politics is cultural. You really can't escape it, can you? Well, that's what we try to do here at Friendly Geordies. But don't you think it's just like, look at the Palestinian protesters. Just look at these. And then let's just go back here. And then look at them. It's all culture, isn't it? It's just all a culture war. It's just pathetic. No one is able to ever look outside the lens any further than themselves ever, are they? It's just, I'm me, and I grew up in this part, and then my mum said some things when I was young, and that's what I've been operating on ever since. What's that?
Left divided. Brianna Piazza, SBS World News.
And there were rallies in 20 other locations across the country. In Adelaide, a scuffle broke out when uninvited speakers attempted to hold the stage. More than 1,000 police officers in Sydney kept competing protests apart. They say the day ended with no significant incidents. While there were tense scenes in Canberra and Hobart as opposing sides were kept only metres apart.
I'll be marching in Sydney. I've got to pay advance for
a city split by one idea. March for Australia protesters calling on the...
When I walk around Australian cities and suburban areas today, it doesn't feel like the country I grew up in anymore. I always hear foreign languages and foreign people stare at me with hostility.
Police.
This we require. Rents are too expensive.
Oppression becomes law, then resistance becomes duty. Yeah! And underneath that was written, every man dies, but not every man lives. That is Australia. That is
While protesters today have been referencing a range of immigration figures.
They're letting in 600,000 new immigrants a year.
Yeah, look, oh God, no one's helping me find this goddamn Avi Yemeni stuff. Two things. You could look more like a right-wing grifter with the thug life glasses. Try searching for assault by Yazis rather than punched. Okay. Avi assaulted by Nazis. It rhymes. It's like a children's book. Avi gets assaulted by Nazis. Avi decided to walk outside as a Jew. Nah. All right. Look, I will scrounge through. I'll scrounge through what he's got here and we'll see if there's anything.
Clock again, but I brushed every night with my ordinary paste.
Oh, someone said it's at 47 minutes. Thank you very much. But also, this is very important information as well.
Neutralizes plaque overnight, so you wake up
Wow,
with superior
look at those
plaque protection.
graphs. You can't argue with results.
With Oral-B.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform.
Okay, that is... Can I just say before we continue on? That's fucked. Life is getting way too easy. I remember in university, the big meme was all these people that had an idea for an app. Now there's an app for the idea. You can do that? Life is getting too easy. See, this is the whole thing about politics. Why is anyone complaining anymore? We live in the future. Hey, Jordan, I watched a clip of Melissa McIntosh holding up a Medicare card in Parliament and complain about bulk billing. It made me angry watching that grub hold up the card. Her party has been trying to destroy Medicare for decades. I know. It's pathetic, isn't it? It's so... Anytime the Liberal Party gets up and says, we're concerned about Medicare and we need to make it more efficient, etc., etc. Oh! I do the same Bobcatter thing. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth right now. By the way, actually, we will be reacting to some Bobcatter memes very, very soon. But I do want to see Avi Yemeni getting punched. Well, I mean, come on. It's a fight. What was it? 47 minutes?
So far, it seems like everyone we've met here so far are just here for Australia. This is about Australia for them.
Oh, please tell me he gets punched in the back of the head after saying this.
There's a small group apparently in there. Oh, there's a group there that apparently people say is they reject. Let's listen.
Only my family can do that. Every single police officer here is deputised under the king.
Oh, man, of course. Okay, so the sovereign citizen part railing through this. That's real. And they're the ones with the megaphones. Well, they always have the megaphones, don't they? Having worked in the WA mining industry, these people run immigrant born because Aussie kids don't want work trade jobs. It's very true, isn't it?
Oh, these are the So that's the Nazi group. So there is. So the Nazi group that got in, we were told by people. That's the Nazi group.
It's happening. It's happening.
Look at them. When they first got here, there was a bit of argy-bargy. We weren't here. We missed that part. Most of the crowd here seem to be standing for Australia. These guys seem to be wrapping their hateful ideology around the flag. You with those guys?
I'm one of all these guys.
Right, yeah.
I've been following for a long time, Arnie.
No, do you know who those guys are? No.
I've got a fair idea.
Yeah.
Great fan, mate. They're here with us. Good work, son.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Oh. That's
Boo!
Look at them. Here we are. Don't touch. Fucking touch.
It's time to go.
Don't touch.
It's time to go. It's time to go.
Look, I'm sorry, but everyone's doing that right now. We will get back to the fight, but everyone's doing the same thing. As soon as you see a fight, you just turn into a chimp, don't you? You do exactly the same moves that you see chimpanzees do at the zoo when two are beefing on. Just like, dig him! Get him down! I don't even know who's fighting anyone anymore. Okay, so the black guys, ironically, are the white supremacists. Why are they dressed in black? Oh, come on, don't hit the old man. What are you beating him? Why do they hate Harvey so much?
We're good. So the Nazis who...
Oh, the screaming of the J word suddenly made my brain click in. God, I'm stupid. That's why they hate Harvey.
So that is the group that most of the people here said they don't support. They forced their way in. They forced their way in, and they made it about them. But most of the group here are not racist, you alright? Yeah.
You right, Abby? You can look after yourself, man.
Alright. Where's Brett in that?
What's up?
Just wait. Just give me a second, mate.
Jesse, wait.
Jesus. The guy after he's just getting dead. Can I have a photo, bro? You gotta love this country. But that's what I'm talking about, right? Like, the intensity of those Nazis there, don't you think it just feels really like British and skinheady? It doesn't feel very Aussie. The rest of it is that. It's like, too many migrants, okay. And then these guys are coming in quite intensely, in very military formations. Yeah, well, that changed my views a lot. Because I saw a fight, and it was sick. I turned around and accidentally walked into the middle of the march in Broadway. Yeah, come on, just admit it. You were there, weren't you, mate? And you were being a true blue. Sydney thought I'd turn around. I thought I'd turn out like that local gay show, their Pride newspaper, Bart Simpson meme. I wish, God, it would be so good if there was just a photo of you looking confused in front of that. This is you. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to do. I can't really find a good spot. I will continue on reading these, and then we will laugh at some Bobcat memes. Geordie's reactor Cumtown animated bits by Saul protesting is 4 dinguses just in case your bank and super. Yeah, I think that's generally it. Generally, protests are just filled with angry people for no reason. Jordan, I've given you so many doula, but you read my message. Why not? Am I stupid? Yeah, you probably are stupid. I mean, you are giving me money and I'm not returning any service. That's kind of the definition of stupidity, mate. But nonetheless, I will try. I will try to be nice to you from now on. Thank you very much for the $5. I didn't really start that very well for that, did I? Sorry. Let's see what else we've got. It's so obvious these neo-Nazi guys were going to turn up to this. The guy who speaks for them was praising the march while still being planned. Right! So I don't really understand who that guy is. I've seen the bald guy with the mustache before, but I've got to say, if you are a skinhead, that guy there was nothing else that man was born for in this world. That guy is perfect for that role. That was his dharma. And I think that everybody should lay off him for that pure reason that he is following the karmic winds like the rest of us only wish that we could. There's nothing else he could have ever been. All right, show PP, Jordan. I love my chat. This is great. Everybody sitting there. Yeah, this is all well and good, this mildly entertaining fight. But whip your D out. Not gonna lie, Jordan, you look like a Timo Agent 47 with the bald cap. I do too. I'm really self-conscious about this. Oh no, I'm gonna have to have a break for 5 minutes. That's pretty much just because I've got to pee. But I will be back. Stay tuned. We will be laughing at a bunch of Bobcat memes.
No, for those that are saying that I did a turd, no, I went and made myself a tea. I'll be back in a second. Stop saying I went and did a crap. It's not true. It's lies. I went to do a pee. And now I'm downloading some Bobcat memes. So just to keep. It is kind of like that, isn't it? Your call is important to me.
we're back. And these are my dates. Look, I'll go into this main one. Well, Bob Katter has absolutely raised himself from legendary status to getting into Elysium when he dies, because he has done the unthinkable. He has outdone his crocodile statement. And I think we all know what I'm talking about, but just in case you don't, just in case you didn't see this, have a look.
AMP Bank Go.
Well, there's an ad there, but you know what I'm getting at.
Protects all kinds of small businesses.
Who, me?
With smart security that's always evolving, like video ID checks and real-time notifications.
Hell yeah.
AMP Bank Go, taking care of mini business.
It's the violent outburst seen across Australia and the world.
Oh, mate, don't say that, because that irritates me, and I punch blokes in the mouth for saying that. Don't you dare say that.
Bob Katter, I like. But Bob Katter needs to have a look at that footage, have a look at himself, frankly, and recognise
and say that he's a legend. What are you talking about, Albert? No, I'm changing my vote.
Of any Australian,
Coward.
let alone
Coward, get in the ring with
someone
him.
who's in public office.
You're assuming that he's in the wrong. Like, I'm still not accepting that he has anything to apologise here.
Australia's longest-serving parliamentarian, Bob Katter, physically threatening a Channel 9 journalist on Thursday.
Yeah, go in.
After
Go
a
for the
question
punch,
about
you
his
80-year-old
Lebanese
man.
heritage.
You're a racist. You cannot say what you just said
He's so
without
close.
being identified as a racist.
His son says it's a sensitive subject, off limits at a press conference where the KAP pushed an anti-immigration agenda.
You repeatedly remind them that it's a no-go area, we're not fielding questions, they persist. You'd have to then at that point think, well, that's intentional provocation.
Yeah, I don't think that's becoming. Doesn't matter who you are or how iconic you think you are.
Shut up, little crowd.
We've been given
win.
a privileged place
Look
in
at him.
Parliament.
It's just because
to
he
go,
couldn't beat in a
and
fight
to-
against an
to actually
octogenarian. That's
debate
why.
ideas with intellect.
Well liked across the political spectrum, but few believe this passed the pub test.
It was out of line. We have to work in a democracy where there's robust discussion and debate with journalists.
I would imagine that those new processes that have been set up, an independent parliamentary standards commission, will be looking...
Shut up, Kat. All of them suck, don't they? God, they're slimy. Every single one of these Liberal politicians that just came on then. Look at all these nerds. What happened to that party? Look at this man. Why are you a representative? You don't represent anyone. Dude, you should be a bean counter. Go work at H&R Block. That hat is more of a man than you. And then Jared Blake, I mean, Jesus, talk about not a man. Isn't he just like, I wish I was famous enough to be a Dancing with the Stars? And then Jane Hume is just, hello, I am talking puppet of Liberal Party talking points. The woman. Also crap. And then look at this. It just, I don't know. There's no room for a fair dinkum Australian anymore. And it outrages me, and I hope that it outrages you. Not as much as Bob Katter, though, because I think that you blow a gasket. That man is angry as, and I think we all know why. It's because he is, say it with me, a lib. That is the reason that you have those Lebanese outbursts, because he can have his North Queensland accent he likes, walking around in his cowboy hat, but I don't think that 140 years out of Lebanon was enough for that man. It's still raging like some chili sauce getting put on a halal snack pack. If you ever heard that before, you dog. Like, really, just replace the accent there. It's like, what do you call me? You call me a Leba? You racist dog. I will beat you. You are so lucky the cameras are here, bro. I swear to God. And then you combine that with Far North Queensland, which is just as aggressive and aggro, but in a more brain melty way, as opposed to like, my brain has been deep fried by the desert sun, bro. Like, it's a different type of angry, but it's two of those clashing together to make the world's funniest man. And I salute him. I take my hat off to you, Katter, but the one that I was using to make all of my impressions of you is over there and I can't be bothered to get it. This is a great day to be Australian. I am so happy that that happened. I hope that you are as well. And to celebrate this momentous day, I think that we should all start calling him Bob Qatar in the hope that we have more of these insane outbursts. More, I say, more. Like, look, I wouldn't be pushing so hard for this if it wasn't also the combination of Lebo genes, country boy upbringing, and in far North Queensland. So his brain's essentially just been in a Norwegian steam sauna its entire life. And that beautiful combination has now been made into a nice hero snack pack. We've got a third sauce that is getting put on top of the halal, which is... He's clearly losing it. We've got our own Joe Biden has dementia. He is snapping. He's not going to be here that long. And so I want more of those on the public record. That should be your true legacy. Hang on, sorry. Bob Qatar does not sound like a North Queenslander. All right, so these are the two nicknames that we can use. You can use them interchangeably from now on, but in the hope that one day we can inspire another one of these outbursts. Because this is going to be up there with a nice succulent Chinese meal. We will look back at this in 50 years' time and be like, that was one of the most iconic moments of this nation's history. And what a migrant success story that is. From the humble beginnings of Lebanon to becoming one of the most proud, authentic Australians there are, marching in anti-migration rallies. That's how Australian he is. And then while doing it, being this hot-blooded of a lad, being out there just being like, so anyway... Two names that we can go with. Bob Qatar, which I think is nice because it sounds like Qatar very much. And then there's people saying like, did you know that the Qataris actually aren't Lebanese? Yes, I know. The whole point is to provoke him into more rage, which, you know, as we can see, doesn't take much. And then the other one I think is, and look, I'm taking credit for both. This is just one of those days where you go into show and tell and you say, I think that my news was the most interesting in year one, but I seriously do. I think I've got them nailed. Bob Qatar, Jordan Shanks Original, and then the second one, Shish Kebab. Why hasn't anyone started calling him Shish Kebab yet? This is outrageous. This is a failure on our end. We should all be ashamed of ourselves for dropping the ball. Thankfully, I'm here, leading the charge, with a bunch of memes that I asked you to send in. And unfortunately, we can't give you shout-outs. You're going to have to go to the Facebook page to see if they are. The reason that you can't is because... I don't know how to operate computers very well. And so I don't know how to download your things directly. So I had to have this like kid-safe version done of it for me. So thank you for helping me do my job. It's pathetic, isn't it? All right, let's see what we've got. One second. What have we got? Here's the first one. Hang on, let me just see something here. All right, you ready? Here's the first one. Look at that beautiful mine. Yeah. The first one is a video that was sent in. Obviously, I am not privy to any of these. We are all watching them for the first time together.
Take it easy, bro. Relax. Take a chill pill. Oh, my God. I'm not going to smash you, Lou. My cousins are.
Yes, and of course that was from the smash hit Channel 9 show Meet the Qatars. Next one. Has anyone seen Bob Catter and Margaret Court in the same room? Just saying. Damn. No, I have not. The mystery thickens. Really, what is the difference? I mean, come on. Margaret is wearing a wig, right? Surely. Look at this. This is just Lebo Mrs. Doubtfire. Lebanese Mrs. Doubtfire. Let me see. Next one. No, that's not true. Come on, that's AI. He is not reading his own book. I mean, the man clearly has good taste, albeit somewhat, some might argue, a little bit egocentric. Nonetheless, the man himself, I'm probably assuming because he has lost his mind, is trying to figure out how Bob Catter thinks so he can get into his head and learn from the true greatness of it. He probably has to do it. He's learning over and over again. I'll cut him some slack for it. That is not real. I mean, look, I hope it is. Much like the X-Files, I want to believe, but this is a conspiracy theory, surely. Bob Qatar launches new hybrid NDIS and debt collection business with 6 cousins called Hectic Care. I mean, bro, when you crash your WRX and you get a brain damage, how are you supposed to fix it yourself, cuz? You're going to have to take it to your cousin's garage, but he can't give you just all of it as a family discount. You have to let the state come in. Cuz, just think of the state as your wider family, lad. Bob Catter is the Darren Lockyer of memes. Ain't it the truth? Oh, we're eating good today. He died with a falafel in his hand. This will never get old. I think that we can just make this channel from now on coming up with more creative ways to say that Bob Catter is Lebanese, and I think that we'd all be satisfied with that. Every single Australian. Wouldn't it be great if underneath his hat is just one of those little garlic sauce things that he just takes out every now and then? Hold on a second, I've just got to put this on the... For some reason, my tongue really likes garlic sauce. And I can't figure it out coming from far north Queensland. You know what's incredible? It's kind of like a closet gay, but for a Lebo. He's got to be the only man on earth to have done it. It's great. What? Why can't I move this? Why isn't it letting me move? Here we go. Mark's safe from getting punched in the mouth by Bob Catter today. Oh, nice. Man, if I was that Channel 9 journalist, I would have to start doing that a lot, wouldn't I? He's going to have to look out for the back for the rest of his life. Don't ever come to Townsville, dog. Bruh, if I ever see you in bruh, if I ever see you in TV again, and I'm not talking about that thing inside my house that I can get you a cheap discount on. It's not that. If I ever see you in that TV, bruhs, you better watch your back. In fact, I'll meet you at the Macca's there, cuz. There's several Macca's though, so it could be confusing. Let's just put this little blue flag on the Macca's that you're safe at, and then I'll come Uzi you. Katia, it's Catter. Say it right. He's even doing the little hand gesture as well. Don't say that. Man, The Simpsons predicts everything, don't they? That is exactly how I remember that episode to go. Oh, nice. Know the difference. Let's find out together because I can't tell. Can you? Very similar. King Bob never lady leg like that. What? What does that mean? Bob Catter is Darren Lockyer of memes. Yes, we've got that. We've got that. Very good. Very good. Braz. Geordies will take any chance he gets to do a Lebanese accent. Yeah, but I don't need this stimulation. I will find another excuse. Don't worry. But if it is packaged to me in such a beautiful bow, you gotta let me unravel it. Oh my god, just what I always wanted. Okay, let's see the difference. Lebanese, Bob Katter. Lebanese people like Walla Habibi. Bob Katter likes the wallabies. Al-Akbar, always a cobra. Punch bowl, punch mouth. It's true, it's very, very similar. This meme makes a good point. 4x. Oh, that's genius. Okay, whoever came up with this meme, I've got to say, they'd have to have as much IQ points as this man has had years in this country. 140 minimum. Hummus dip, shape dip. Inshallah, inshallah. Yeah, well, you know, Far North Queensland is. It's very good points. Mosques, mosquitoes. And you should be fearful of both. You really should. If you don't attend mosque as a Muslim, you should be scared that you will get some sort of curse. And mosquitoes do the same thing. Very astute. Tracksuits, black utes, haram killings, R.M. Williams, Mount Druitt, Mount Isa, true. Baklava, Outback Lover. Oh my God. They really are quite close and similar. I never realised this before, but Lebo and Aussie, there's a reason that they come in here and they're like, it's basically the same culture. It's just one's a little more laid back. Just a little. Acai bowls, let 1,000 blossoms bloom as far as I'm concerned. But I ain't spending any more time on it because in the meantime, every 3 months a person is torn to pieces in far north Queensland. What a way to finish it. That meme deserves to be in the Modern Contemporary Museum of Art instead of the crap that they put in there. That's... Oh, you've really nailed it. That was a really... Whoever did that... I won't do anything for you, but good on you. Like Jim's mowing, Jim's memes, we have Bob Katter memes and HSPs. Yeah, totally. According to the Prime Chimster, Bob Katter regrets threatening a journo who asked about his Lebanese heritage. It was wrong and I fell about it. I mean, that's a direct quote. See? No matter how much he tries to hide it, it will come out. It's just, dude, if you wanted people to not ever know about your Lebanese heritage, maybe don't threaten to punch someone about it when there's a bunch of cameras there. Because at the very least, you can't deny it after that. You clearly have Lebanese genes. There's no argument. The only thing that would be better is if... The only thing that would be more convincing than that is if he was a dog supporter. He couldn't help himself. He was trying to support the Cowboys, but he can't do it. His genes won't allow him. Never ask a woman her age, a man his salary. Bob Katter about his ethnic background. No. I completely disagree with this meme. Do ask. Keep asking. We need to uncover the questions. Make him do an Ancestry.com. Show us your birth certificate, Bob. I don't believe you. I think your name's Bob Guitar. Is that how I got it correctly? Until we see his birth certificate, I'm not quite sure that he's Australian, maybe. A lot of very interesting things are coming up. You certainly would never lose your temper over something as trivial as the birthplace of your grandfather. I'll kill you! I'll kill all of you! Especially those of you in the media! Look, I know that everybody hates me endlessly finding The Simpsons amusing, but screw you, you're wrong. It's the greatest show of all time, and I really like everybody continuing to appropriate it. When us millennials die, you will regret it. You will regret it. The world will be a far less fun place if we stop using old Simpsons jokes to reappropriate everything in the news cycle. Teuton Sons. Joel Jabal, I love how much you love Bob. It's just, how can you not? How can you not love that man? He is a gift. He is a gift to this national identity, first off. He's everything that is right about this country, don't you think? Bob Katter is everything that is right about this country. First off, he's from far north Queensland, so he's a mushhead that is the right type of mushhead. Like, look, he threatens to beat you up, and you're like, dude, do it. Whatever makes you happy. Go off, King. He's got that vibe about him, and that is that far north Queensland part about him. So it's just great that he's there. It's hilarious because it is just so far north Queensland, isn't it? To go into Parliament with a giant cowboy hat that seems to get bigger every single time I see it, like it's that cop in Scary Movie. It just keeps expanding out. It's like the more he shrinks, the more he tries to hide it, being like, nah, I'm still virile. Don't you look at the size of the hat? He's insane. He is a migrant success story. I like how he is the pin-up boy example of migrant success story in the sense that guy, you can't say that guy didn't assimilate. Holy hell. Like, he's more Australian than me. You understand that, right? Like, everybody here, anybody that was at that rally that wasn't Bob Katter didn't deserve to be there. That should have been a one-man march. Everyone here is less Australian than that man. You can't deny it. And at the same time, to top all of this off, he's a leb, and he gets triggered about being called a leb, and so his inner leb comes out. That is the funniest man to have ever existed. And on top of all of this, he's a parliamentarian, and on occasion, he is the make or break vote of this country, and he is the one person in a minority crossbench that I think, look, he's too hilarious to have any of these political divides anymore. What he says goes, purely just because of the size of his hat. My best friend lied about his Lebanese heritage for years. It turns out that he was half Irish and half Maori. When asked why, he said, because it was cool back then. See, Bob, people lie about wanting to be a lib. Do you understand that? You've gone the other way. You're too Australian. That's my only critique of you. You have successfully immigrated far too well. All right, hang on. I fear nothing. Shows a gay crocodile. Also, don't you think? Just the fact that he... Oh, wait, you didn't see it. Sorry. I'll show you this. Yeah, there we go. I fear nothing. Shows gay crocodile. See, even that's really leb as well. It's just like, oh my God, what's with all the homos around here? And that's the thing. Look, he did the right thing. All of you lebos that moved to Bankstown, if you don't want gays, this ain't the city for you. You go to far north Queensland and you start rubbing up cattle for 140 years so you turn out like him. Wait a minute. There's something bothering me about this place. I know. This Lebanese bar doesn't have a fire exit. Enjoy your death trap, Lebbies. Ah, they've got some choice photos of him as well. The one of him just caught mid-sentence. Perfect. What do you think the Katters say to him once he leaves? What's that Leb's problem? What if he's actually from Lebanon, the town in Tennessee? Oh, wouldn't that be the ultimate twist? I mean, it would explain a lot, wouldn't it? It'd at least explain his clothes. And everything else. If you come from Tennessee, you'd have to get to far north Queensland before you'd feel like, oh, I'm home. Hey, Bob, what's that going on? All right, let me try that again. It's a Lebanese accent. They've made the clear directions there. I'm sorry, I failed you. Hey, Bob, what's going on, Habibi? You don't talk with your accent no more, bro. Yalla! All right, we've reached peak Simpsons. We've reached peak Simpsons. You can't improve that. That's the best Simpsons meme I've ever seen. I don't know how you have improved on the classic Simpsons, but this meme has done it. Well done. I think that we should, every time this is ever aired in Australia from now on, remember when they were saying, oh, the Australian episode's too offensive for Australia? No, what's too offensive is that isn't that joke anymore, and we should just make it a law from now on that Disney, when it airs it here, when it's under that IP address, it has to be this gag instead. What do you reckon? Links below for the petition that I can't be bothered to set up. Someone else do it. Bobcat MP, 84,000 followers. Yeah. Don't follow each other on Instagram. Yalla Habibi, just wondering where the best place to get a halal snack pack is. You know that he read that as well. Just be like, Yalla Habib. Oh, this is some other racist coming into my DMs, sliding into my DMs to represent hatred. Well, we'll see about that. I'm going to start using data retention laws to find you, and I'll come up to your face and say, I'll deck you, you mutt. Problem libo, yalla habibi. All right, that's it. I think that those are all of them. I think that we also have to... What was the other thing that I had to cross-promote as well? Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Just in case you haven't seen them as well, we did have some regret. We had some... Let me just put this here. Well, that was fun. Thank you to everybody that did send through memes. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. I've said that 3 times because words cannot express how much fun that was. Thank you for giving me so much joy in these dark, troubling times where Donald Trump might be dead. And that would be so tragic in itself. And this is what I'm saying. Both of them, they're both 80. They are both on the clock. We need to harvest as much juice as we possibly can from both while they're still here, because they are gifts. They are gifts, and we will regret them when they're gone. Bob Catter honestly reminds me of Yilmaz in the sense that this whole time, any moment that I'm not thinking about that man is a wasted moment. And I hope that you feel the same way as well. And just in case you didn't know, on TikTok and Instagram, I post skits. For everybody that's always saying, bring back Dave's Dinners, what about Yilmaz? All of that, all of your classics, they're all over there. I'll give you an example of it. I do crossovers because I figured out some shameless marketing tricks that seem to work in the algorithm. And one of them is as follows. These are a couple of skits that we've done recently on Bob Qatar. The reason that I am showing this again is I really want you to spread that meme as far and wide as we can. Purely, again, for the comedic value of seeing him have these outbursts. It needs to happen. Sorry, we'll continue on. Yes, I'm advocating a hate crime, yes.
brother.
Hi! Are you assuming that because I have Lebanese descent from 140 years ago that I'm somehow your brother? Racist!
Huh? You want Khabib or sneak peek?
Oi! Ooh, you are lucky that there are cameras in here, mate, or I'd pop you in your hummus hole. In fact, I've half a mind to do it anyway, you naughty little Turk.
What you say, you bloody f***? You have half a mind because you're from far north Queensland.
No!
Yes, and it's hot up there, and that's why you have half mind.
Oi! Here I am, coming in here like any normal human wearing an oversized cowboy hat, wanting a snack pack.
Aha! You want halal snack pack, I knew this.
No, I want a snack pack. Hold the halal.
Hold halal?
That's right. And if you've got a problem with that, then I've got a problem with you, mate, you anti-Australian, anti-Lebanese, racist garlic tomb merchant.
No garlic tomb, only garlic.
What? Now I've got 3/4 of a mind to knock that little fez clean off you, you Cadbury Turkish delight.
Did you say quarters or Qatar? Because you are Bob Qatar.
Don't say that.
Bob Qatar.
Don't say that. You cannot say what you just said without being identified as a racist. So, gentlemen, ladies, this man is a racist.
There's no one else in shape.
Where's my Australian snack pack? Put tomato sauce on it like it's a pie, bigot.
Salam alaikum, brother.
Hi.
Anyway, look, I'm showing you those. First off, exactly for what Timmy did. Thank you very much for the $10. He said, do some Bob Qatar skits with you wearing a Canterbury Bulldogs jersey. That's what we are doing right now. Yes, I'm shamelessly content farming you. Where else should we put Bob Qatar? Give me some skit ideas. Give me some skit ideas. We'll do them together. While I wait for them to come in, we'll watch the other one. There's another one coming out tomorrow.
Right, class. Today we have a Member of Parliament visiting us. Oh, no way, it's the Lebo. Boys, it's the Lebo from TV. Oi, hide your wallets, he'll staunch us.
Aha! Just as I suspected, this so-called Albanese education revolution is re-educating our kids to be racist.
What? What the f*** are you talking about, you dumb lib?
You keep saying that and I'll slap your bottom like a drought master that doesn't want to get on the trap.
Bro, how are you saying you're not a leb when you're that fucking aggro? Like, where do you think all this anger is coming from, bro? It's coming from your genes, lad.
I'm getting angrier than chili sauce in a mixed plate, and that's got nothing to do with me being a leb. Got it? You know what we did to cheeky little mongrels like you in my day?
Give me a kebab.
No! Why would we do that?
Because you're a Lebo, I told you this.
Oh! When will the racist tirades end?
Yeah, bro, look at your nose, it's a big chicken caboose.
My abnormally large nose allows me to smell bigotry. And I can smell it coming off you from a mile away, mate. And it smells... Oh, it smells foul. Bigotry is foul.
No worries, sir. You're still my favourite. I like you because like you threaten to punch people and shit.
How would you like it if I started calling you a leb? Hey?
I'm not a leb. I'm Turkish, you dog.
Well, then that's what you are. You're a leb.
Bro, if you keep saying that, one phone call, 50 lebs on your doorstep.
You just said you were Turkish, you fat little pidday.
Oh, whatever, bro. It's the same shit. Okay, that's enough. Everyone thank Bob Qatar.
It's Qatar. My last name's Qatar.
All right, class.
Yeah, so look, in case you joined in just then... Yeah, so look, in case you just joined in then, I want to come up with a bunch of Bob Qatar skits, because they're skits, and you got to tell me where you think that we should put him. Give us some ideas. We will write them down as a list right now. Put them in the comments. We'll read some out now. I think that this is good comedic gold. We can't let this meme die. I refuse to let this meme die. What do you think of people gooning in the chat, Geordies? Oh, goon away. So you got to goon somewhere. Bob Qatar gets a free chip to Israel. Very good. Putting it down. Thank you very much, Redacted. Bob Qatar took an industry test. The results, Lebanese. Bob's response, fake news. I'm 100% beef and crocodile. It's true. It's that is... I mean, look, I wouldn't be surprised if he is so much that he did change his genes. I genuinely do believe in that new age theory that you can think your way into changing your genetic code, and he's living proof of it. All right, let's see. Bob Qatar visits an immigration museum. Nice, really like that. Bob Qatar wrestles grey crocodile. Good. Oh, Bob Qatar financing jet skis. Wanting to buy a jet ski. That would be so good. Bob Qatar meets Pauline Hanson. Not bad. Bob Qatar kicked off Cronulla Beach. Bob Qatar runs NDIS scam. Dude, I'm very much liking the nice little Lebo undertones of it. Slow down, everybody. You're all coming up with great ones. Yeah, Bob Qatar at the Cronulla Riots. We definitely got to do that one. Bob Qatar tries to go to Macca's. Jeans pull him into Mecca. Bob Qatar flexing his new AMG. Very good. Oh, and just in case you didn't know, I am going to Bob Qatar's homeland, Townsville. I'm also going to Cairns and Brisbane. I'm going to all the places where crocodiles can eat you. I'm going to Bob Qatar's simultaneously heaven and hell. Loves the area, hates the crocs. I'm sort of in the same boat, I've got to say. I'm going there. Make sure that you get your tickets. Links below. Pauline Hanson's ex-Polish husband. She's got an ex-Polish husband, really? Okay, I am sorry that I didn't read that part. That is very good information. Bob Qatar in a Turkish barbershop. Yeah, Bob Qatar in Western Suburbs would be great. Oi! Oh, yeah, Bob Qatar meets Spaniard would be sick. Thank you very much for all of these suggestions. Make Bob Qatar look like he's some cunt from New South Wales and hates Queensland. Because that would make sense, wouldn't it? Like, he must feel really conflicted being up in Queensland. That poor man. Bob Qatar arguing that slave labour is actually okay. It fair hard workers who want work instead of hardly work. Rambles on ad nauseum. I mean, that's just his day-to-day, isn't it, Zach? Bob gets hemorrhoids and calls the police. Okay. I mean, it's funny. Bob Qatar in the kennel at the kennel. Yeah, exactly. That's, yeah. Is that what it's called? Is it called the kennel, is it? For the super fans. Because all I ever knew was that the Roosters was called the Chook Pen. And then you go look at the Chook Pen and it's just filled with a lot of people with Down syndrome. What else have we got here? Bob Qatar, the more people reference his Lebanese, the more he looks and sounds Lebanese. Yeah, it's true. You can't escape that now. Bob Qatar arguing with an illiterate Chinese man. Got to do it. All right, look, honestly, I'm pretty damn happy with all of that. gang, thank you so much for attending. Thank you for watching this stream. I think that we should probably get out of here because it is nigh on 11. But can I just say, thank you so much for attending. Thank you so much for helping. I think that we got a lot done in this stream. I hate it when streamers say that this stream was productive, but I do think that it was. So maybe I will say it. You guys are legends. I'll see you next time.